Hi guys, my name is Mila. Welcome to my channel. I'm a psychoanalytical psychotherapist, and today I'm going to talk about man-children. A lovely topic, isn't it? We see it everywhere around us. How do you define what is a man-child, right? So let me define it real quick. A man-child cannot take responsibility for his actions. Men-children, they will not get married, even though they could be in a relationship. They will not get married for 6 years, 8 years, 10, 15 years. They're not going to get married. They're too scared to take that responsibility. And if they get married and you have kids with him, be ready for that man-child to regress into a child and start, well, a lot of the times they just start like addictive behaviors, like, you know, they could cheat, they could go to another woman to satisfy their needs because they are not psychologically developed enough, and they don't have that emotional maturity. They don't have like psychological maturity. They will drag you down when you have kids. So the signs that your partner, your obsession is a man-child, and a lot of the times man-children, one of the reasons why these men-children can become some sort of obsession is because you could be experiencing codependency and you could be a people pleaser. So people-pleasing women tend to attract men-children. Also, men children are people pleasers themselves. They can be people pleasers. They can be anything, actually. They can be anxiously attached. They could have avoidant attachment. They could have fearful, whatever. They can have all kinds of attachments. I can give you like an example of a man-child with anxious and avoidant. Anxious man-child would constantly run after you. It's like, imagine like having a little baby that you need to take care of, even when he might be 36, and you just have to be, I notice these men, they literally never grow up. They have like a behavior of a 15-year-old when they could be 45 even. It's so sad to see it because they, in a way, they don't even understand how it's affecting their own life. They're so unhappy with themselves, but they don't understand that this is a result of their actions. And what's really sad is that these men-children, they were raised to be men-children. They never really finished psychological maturity stage. The mothers could probably, well, not could, their mothers are highly codependent, right? So codependent mothers produce codependent children. Codependency is a huge issue, and I'm going to be recording a separate video on that. So a man-child will ask you to pay his bills, to split the bill, to do all these things that basically a man probably wouldn't ask you to do. Grown-up men, they have a very different outlook on life. Grown-up men, they know how to achieve. They're not a victim. I feel like a grown-up man or a grown-up woman is a person who have learned to take that responsibility, is the person who will not put it onto others. Run from a man-child because you're not going to be able to run from a man-child if you have not developed yourself. So let's say if you have these tendencies, maybe you're not a woman, maybe you're still like a child woman. There's a thing like that too, where a woman just wants to put that responsibility on a man, and it's what really happens is usually women children attract men children, and then they clash because two kids cannot regulate their emotions. They cannot imagine like two kids arguing, right? And imagine two adults having a conversations. Like adults, well, hopefully, I'm talking about like grown-up adults, they're not gonna sit there arguing with each other. They're gonna talk. But to children, they're gonna like scream and shout and throw things, So a lot of the times, if you have attracted a man-child, that means you need to work on yourself. That means you need to understand why that happens, because there could be codependency. Codependency or people-pleasing means like you see another person as a continuation of yourself. You need another person in order to feel alive. You cannot tolerate loneliness. You cannot, it's very difficult for you to take responsibility in terms of like, paying for yourself, paying for things. You probably don't know how to save money. You probably don't know how to keep friendships. You don't probably, like, it could be many things. Sign for you, if you attracted a man-child, treat it as a sign to work on yourself. Because a grown-up woman will not be able to tolerate a man-child. A grown-up woman is gonna run, and she's not likely to stay because she doesn't want to be a mom. She knows that she doesn't need to be a mom for, you know, a person who looks like a man. You know what I mean? She doesn't need to be that mother figure. And a lot of the times also with these men, you're gonna realize that the mother figure in their life is very prominent. You know, it's very prominent because really, if you feel like even if you're watching this video, if you feel like you're stuck in a relationship with a man-child and you want out, deep inside you know you want out. Deep inside you know that you're not a mum. You don't want to be a mum. Deep inside you know that you want to be a grown-up woman. Deep inside you know that you need a grown-up man. You know, deep inside we know all these things, yet we don't. We know, but we don't really acknowledge it, I guess. But deep inside we know. It's a sign. It's a huge sign to work on yourself. At the end of the day, like, we attract what we are. Men, they know how to make money. Men, they have this healthy aggression, and they get things done. Men children, their aggression is blocked. So they either become passive aggressive, they cannot have a conflict. Whatsoever. Having conflicts for them, they would rather avoid. They're very conflict avoidant. They have a lot of difficulties expressing their needs. You just won't hear from them. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to tell you, hey, I like this, I don't like that. They could become passive aggressive. They could just shut up and avoid. They can go into addictive behaviors, and a lot of the times men children, they do have addictions, lots and lots of addictions. In general, people who have not psychologically matured, they have addictions, addictive behaviors. Could be anything, you know, porn, alcohol, drugs. They would have addictive behaviors, and that addiction you're gonna have to deal with. If you're in a relationship with that person, that addiction is gonna reflect on you. And this is where I'm starting to talk about codependency. See, that's how codependency was born. Like, the term was born when they studied behavior of people with addictions and the people who are in relationship with people with addictions. And what was happening is that the partner of a person with addiction would try to save them. That's how the whole drama triangle is born, where you're trying to save them. And so probably that's what you're going to be doing in your relationship. You're going to be trying to save him. You're going to try to save this person from the misery, from the bad people, from the bad events. And there's going to be a lot of bad people, bad events, and bad whatever. There's going to be a lot of that, okay? Because they are victims. They need to create that ego to defend that, you know, broken self. But it's very difficult dealing with people who are so egotistical and constantly in defense, in defense state of, I don't know, mind. The dangers of being with one and choosing one, and why you have to, you know, run from one, is they're gonna make your life miserable, and they're gonna amplify your problems, your psychological problems. They're going to amplify them. So whatever you're feeling, let's say this much, it's going to become like that much. Try to learn why you're attracted in the first place. You know, you're probably attracted to a man-child because you have that savior complex, you know, messiah complex. You think you can save him. You know, you think you can be the mom, maybe you can help him. You don't need to help anyone. People should be able to help themselves. There's no need to play that messiah role with a man, especially. Your outcome is going to be horrible, because you're going to end up probably with a child taking care of everything and everyone, because he's going to be like one of those children, and he's probably going to start cheating because he's not going to be able to come to terms with you spending and paying attention to children more than him. Sad. And then you're just going to be brokenhearted. Work on yourself, because a lot of the times women who end up in relationships with men children are highly codependent, have this messiah complex that I mentioned. They're stuck in drama triangle. You know, they're stuck as a savior, and a lot of the times the roles can switch. You know, the savior can become the aggressor. You might start becoming aggressive in the relationship. And trust me, you don't want to have balls. You don't want to grow balls. With that man, you don't feel like a woman anymore. There's no femininity is in the bin with these kind of men. in the bin because you don't feel like a woman. It might start off really well, fun, great, fantastic, but then later on you will feel like a maid, like a mom, like a cook, it's just like it's going to be it's not going to be nice, trust me. It's not going to be good. The best thing, the best thing is to work on yourself and to make sure that you don't attract these kind of men. You don't even pay attention to these kind of men. They will guilt trip you, manipulate you, gaslight you, verbally abuse, avoid, and then treat you, or make your self-esteem is just gonna like come crashing down. So yeah, I think I said enough, and I'll definitely be expanding on codependency, what it is and how to get out. The best way to get out of this whole man-child drama is, seek therapy and get out of the Cartman's triangle, get out of that save him Messiah role. You can't save him. You can't save anyone. You can only learn to save yourself, but you cannot save anyone. And what's more insane is that they don't realize that. They don't even know. They think they're men. They don't know that about themselves, unfortunately. And therefore they do not seek help. And therefore they end up all alone. Or they end up in broken relationships. Or they end up living with their mom at the age of 35. And not succeeding in anything they do. The saddest part is when you're not aware. And that's kind of like what I teach people, to become aware of your shortcomings. Because when you do, then you can change your life. If you don't, it's just going to go downhill. That's it. So anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in another one. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow, and all these things. Yeah, thank you.